This is the story as to why you never pick up random items in the forest and you don't explore the forest alone because you never know what might be there. Now, for those of you who know exactly what I'm talking about, then I'd be surprised because I'd never experienced something like this until I've seen this video. So, as you can all see, this is the story of how I managed to find a secret phone in a secret world, and thus it led to quite an insane discovery. Now, not the kind of discovery I wish I had made, but nonetheless it was a discovery that I did actually make. So the forest was something that I was looking through. I mean, I didn't really look for any specific kind of, I guess you could say, landmark. I wasn't really looking for anything specific, but I did notice that the more I explored this strange forest, the more I knew that something was off, because I was hearing voices and I wasn't exactly sure if these voices were in my head or voices were in the actual world. Nonetheless, as I looked around, it seemed pretty vast and empty. It seemed void of any life, but I knew that there was something deep in the forest as things had happened not too long ago. So I decided to continue on. As I continued on, I actually managed to hear something quite disturbing. And at first, I wasn't really disturbed, but I did think it was my real life phone until I realized that as I took my headphones off, I could no longer hear the ringing. What I actually heard was a phone in this game. Now, I wasn't exactly sure where the ringing was coming from, so I decided to continue to explore to see if I could find out exactly where it was. I knew I didn't make any phones in Minecraft, but I knew that if I managed to find one, then potentially whatever it was, it would be nearby. So as you can all see, right here is the first thing that you can see. It's definitely pretty scary if you ask me, but it's definitely something that I knew would be of use to me in the future. So as you can all see, this is a telephone. Now, it's not a smartphone. It is actually a very old school phone, the ones you have in your, I guess you could say, house or your home of residence, the ones that you don't take out with you. But this was scarier because I'd never placed this before, and not only that, the scariest thing about this phone was that it was placed upon a block of bedrock. Now, we all know that Minecraft bedrock is something that you cannot destroy, but this was something that was just simply there. So I decided that whatever this was, I needed to figure out exactly what was going on. I mean, first of all, my first question was who had placed this there? Who had decided to place this in this Minecraft world? I wasn't exactly sure why they decided to place it there either, and I needed to know when this was placed there. How long has there been a Minecraft phone in this world? I honestly couldn't tell you, but I knew that if I did manage to find this, I was going to be quite intrigued. So of course I decided to look around and find nothing. At first I found nothing. I gotta be honest, it wasn't the best or most enthusiastic time of my life because of course finding nothing in a Minecraft world is not something you want to do. So I decided to chop down some trees and do some thinking. If I was someone who placed a Minecraft phone in a Minecraft world, where would I be hiding? And then I had the brilliant idea that I would be hiding nearby in potentially a house or an underground bunker, simply because I would want that person to contact me or come nearby. Now, of course, it definitely took some time to find this person, but eventually I actually managed to find my first major clue, which would then become the start of the story. So as you can see, I managed to find some strange man who was standing there, and for some reason he definitely stood in a very odd way. I wasn't exactly sure what he was up to or what he was doing, but I just knew that he definitely took some part in whatever this phone was doing. So I decided to message him or just simply talk to him. I wasn't sure if he was going to attack me straight away, but I just knew that having a conversation with him was definitely imperative. He also said, "What did you do in there?" I was confused by this question. What did he mean, what did I do in there? I haven't done anything anywhere. The only place I came was from my house. He also said, "Please tell me you didn't answer a phone." Now, I've got to be honest, I did actually pick the phone up. I don't know if you guys saw that, but this was actually something I did do previously in the world. So I'm guessing that I needed to come with him as soon as possible because unfortunately, he said that anyone who picks up that phone is going to be cursed. So of course, I decided to give him a redstone torch and he said, "Let's go to the mountain." Of course, I wasn't actually hesitant to go to the mountain because I actually wanted to see what he had there. Maybe he had some secret base, maybe he had some secret facility, maybe he was just someone that wanted to save me. I wasn't really sure, but I decided that, you know, if this guy said I shouldn't have answered the phone and what I'd done was completely wrong, then maybe I should just come with him to see exactly what the cure was. Now, I was actually kind of scared because, to be honest, you shouldn't really pick up a phone that's not yours and you don't know what it does, but I didn't think it was that bad. As you can see right here, somehow, somewhere, this guy had managed to create an entire secret fortress in this Minecraft world without me knowing. And hopefully, I guess it was going to be worthwhile the trouble, because it was definitely something that I decided to do. So, of course, as you guys can see, the stairs were pretty made out of quartz. And, of course, there was a button on the right-hand side that I could open. So, of course, as you guys can see, that right there was something that I opened. Then I managed to get myself these golden apples, and of course, as you guys can see right there, as I went down, this was definitely much more than a standardized secret base. As you guys could see, it was definitely something that was, I guess you could say, quite big. Now, I wasn't exactly sure what was going on, but the way the secret base designed, it was designed in a way which we could look out at the windows, which was actually good because it meant if there was anyone dangerous coming, we could completely see them. So, of course, what I managed to do was I managed to go to a certain part of the secret base, which was kind of like this sky dome area. Now, when we went to this sky dome area, what was the scariest thing was, as I looked out of the window, there was a strange creature in the trees. Now, when I spoke to the man, I'm guessing that he said that the reason this creature was here was because I answered the phone. The phone, I guess you could say, was some kind of weird, strange alien signal that definitely meant that anyone who'd answer the phone was going to be contacted by this strange alien race. Now, I was truly scared at this point because I didn't know just how strong or just how dangerous these creatures actually were. I mean, where had they come from? And he said that the creature hunts people down using sound, which meant that this secret base was one that I had to be super quiet in, and I had to be super careful to make sure. He also told me that I was extremely lucky to be alive. Now, of course, this was something that I was glad for because I didn't want to die straight away, especially exploring this world for the first time ever. But of course, I got extremely lucky. My next plan here was to make sure that I decided to, so as you can all see, I realized that the place was already barricaded. I realized that we were already pretty secure, and I decided it would be best, of course, to get myself some armor. For some reason, I knew that potentially there was going to be a scenario in which these creatures would breach the compound. Now, essentially, what this means is that somehow, some way, these creatures would find a way to get inside this secret base. Now, that wasn't something that I wanted at all. But of course, as you guys can all see, out of nowhere, these guys just decided to turn against me. Now, what was even crazier was that, unbeknownst to me, that the man I actually came with actually was a traitor. I know this might go over your heads, but the man himself was part of the crew. It was all a big trap to lure me in to this secret base, and the man himself had turned into one of these crazy creatures which you just saw. Luckily, of course, as you can all see, I managed to escape and stand right next to the entrance. The only reason I stood there was because I didn't want to be inside with that crazy man anymore, and even if there were crazy creatures outside, I could at least escape into the wilderness. Although I did decide that maybe it might be worthwhile to venture back inside to see if there were any resources. Looking back on it, this wasn't a particularly good idea. As I managed to go down into the secret base, more and more of the base was even destroyed, leading me to believe that whatever creatures these were, they definitely had some very strange powers. As you can all see, the man's shirt was ripped, and he had truly embodied exactly what that creature was. Something out of this world, something crazy, something disgusting, and something I didn't want any part of. So luckily for me, I had a few golden apples which I'd actually stolen from the man's armory when he wasn't looking, and luckily, just luckily guys, that was truly intense. I was definitely about to die, but somehow the water nearby managed to save me, and I was alive. And even then, after falling into the lava,